Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another weekly analysis. Now, today I'll be analysing two more pairs, so a total of 12. So on the screen are the 12 pairs that I'll be analysing today. Before we get to that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on the video if you're feeling generous. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow me on my Instagram page. I'll leave the handle there, and also follow me on my Telegram channel. I'll leave that link in the description for a lot of different trading setups throughout the week, so you don't want to be missing out on that. So make sure you go check all of that out. Links will be in the description. But like I said, got another weekly analysis, so let me stop talking and let's get into the video. First up, we've got Euro USD. Okay, so for Euro USD this weekend, not too much happened in terms of direction. Price is literally consolidating at this moment in time. As you can see here, I've got the resistance up there, the support down there, and price is just moving sideways. Really, we did see a move to the downside, which I did say I'll probably expect further movement to the downside next week for Euro USD, but we didn't really break through this key area of support in the market. As you can see here, really nice area of support, tested it once, moved to the upside, tested again a second time, and then a third time, but failed to break through that level. I did say if you break through that level, probably expecting to see that 1.2 level here. As you can see, resistance there of that wick and resistance there of that wick as well, or maybe even that 1.9500 level with including that resistance point there as well. So we got downside targets there for USD, but as you can see at this point now, we are just consolidating here on the daily chart with the resistance there and the support down there, which kind of moving in this box. So we just need to see which way price wants to break out to. Break to the upside, we do have a 4-hourly target where price could potentially go. We got this key level of support resistance going through this level around 1.22 200, again support there, resistance there. Could see a break up to that key level in the market. Break through that level, however, we'll probably be coming back to the highs, because again you can see the overall trend on the daily and the weekly as well is still to the upside. That is still a bullish trend. So a break to the upside past that key level there on the 4-hourly chart, probably see price come back to highs, or maybe even a higher high potentially. Break to the downside, expect that 1.2 level to be hit, or maybe even further, because again, even from a weekly point of view, we did see that strong bearish candle a couple of weeks back. I'm probably still expecting a move to the downside from that candle to go and test that 1.2 area, all the way down to 1.9, which is a really key level of weekly resistance. As you can see, we tested it multiple times before going to break it, so it could be seeing a retest of that level from a weekly point of view. But so far, again, just consolidating, and price does need to have a strong close above or below that resistance there, or the support there, to really break through it, retest it, and then continue to go to the downside, because we could always get a false breakout potentially in these markets. So I need to be aware of that. But right now, Euro USD is consolidating, and just need to see which way it wants to break out to. Next, we're going to take a look at USD JPY. Okay, so for USD JPY this week, we did see a big push to the upside as expected. I did say last week, you probably do expect to see a break of this trend line here in the market, which has been intact for the past few months now. As you can see, initial test back here, back in July, second test there, third, fourth, and we're having our fifth test, and price is kind of just trending along that trend line there. I'm probably saying we probably do expect to see a break to the upside there of that trend line. As you can see, we're looking very bullish at this point. I do probably expect price to continue to the upside for USD JPY, back to this key level of resistance here. As you can see, this is kind of like our last major swing high in the market there. As you can see, every time we test this trend line, we fall to the downside quite sharply, and we tested this area, fell to the downside quite a lot, consolidated a bit, and then fell to the downside, create some new lows there. So I do expect price to come back and test this area, whether we break it or not. Again, not too sure, have to judge the price action when we do get there. But right now, price is looking very bullish right now. Probably could start to see some retrace potentially back to key level of prior resistance and support. So again, this is kind of like the last swing there for this new bullish trend, counter trend move to the upside. So I could see some retracing to that level, and then further movement to the upside to go and test this level around 105.500, really key level of prior resistance. So I do think USD is on its way to go and test that level there. We've definitely had a very strong breakout. As you can see, there's 3 candles to the upside, a lot of bullish momentum behind us. So could be seeing some retrace after this big move. As you can see, with USD we do move quite choppy here after the big moves. You normally see some retracement, some heavy retracement for this pair. So could be seeing some retracement to start the week off potentially, or maybe we might just take off straight away, but probably expect to see some retrace and then continuing to the upside to go and test 105.500. And next we've got USD CAD. Okay, so for USD CAD this week, we had a big push to the upside. It looks like we have broken out of our consolidation. As you can see, I was highlighting this area last week, saying that price is still stuck in this consolidation. We need to see a breakout to the upside or to the downside. I was probably preferring a break to the upside. As you can see, we did break to the upside there. Friday's candle, however, does look like we're closing back inside of that box, that consolidation box there. But again, that could just be a retest of that area. You could see price maybe come down a little bit more to retest it and then continue higher, and then start potentially a bit of a counter and move to the upside for this pair, and see a bigger retracement. However, if you start to close again very strongly below, right into the middle of this consolidation, that was probably just a false breakout at that point, and we could see price consolidating a lot more, maybe even see a break to the downside and a continuation for this pair. But right now it does look like we've broken to the upside. We're coming back to retest and probably do expect further movement to the upside for USD CAD, and potentially be seeing a move into this area of prior resistance, 1.29 around here. So again, really nice area of resistance, sent us to the downside, kind of our last major swing high there. Probably see it movement to go and test that level. We haven't quite tested yet. We kind of wicked twice to the upside there on the daily. You can see on the 4 hourly, kind of tested that level there twice, fell to the downside. So could be seeing further movement to go and test that area there. A break of that level could mean a move to go and test 1.3, really key level of prior support in the market, even weekly as well. If I jump to the weekly and I highlight 1.3, you can see really key level of support in the weekly chart. So again, support there, support there, support. So from a weekly point of view, it looks like we could be retesting that as resistance in order to continue this bearish trend, or maybe even break above it. But again, we'll make that judgment when we get to that area. But right now, we are looking bullish for USD CAD. Probably expect further movement to the upside to go and test 1.29 area around about there for that resistance. Break through that, could be it going up to 1.3. Up next is Euro GBP. Okay, so for Euro GBP on the daily chart, you see we're still kind of bearish with this pair. Price is still kind of making this choppy lower lows and lower highs. If we jump to the 4 hourly, you can see very choppy chart right now. But because it's so corrective, we can probably expect to see a break to the upside and price go and retrace a little bit after you can see a very bearish leg here to the downside, and price is sort of correcting itself in the same direction as that impulsive move there. So potentially could be seeing another impulsive move back up again, retrace it, and then further continuation to the downside, because I still believe the overall trend for UGP is going to be to the downside, and we could be seeing some longer bearish trends for this pair, potentially all the way back down to 0.87. So around here, I do think UGP could be on its way to go and test this level again. More of a long-term viewpoint on UGP. And also last week I was talking about the monthly chart as well for this one, because it looks like we've actually had a breakout out of this consolidation here potentially for this pair. As you can see, for the past few months or so, we've kind of been having our bodies trapped within that consolidation box, and we saw a lot of wicks to the upside, a lot of wicks to the downside. And again, it's the end of the month, and it looks like we're going to be closing just below that consolidation box. So it looks like we're having a breakout to the downside for UGP, and the kind of next monthly level is that 0.87 level, which again, we had that bearish candle, found support, and then the bullish candle back up again. So that is kind of our next monthly support. So from a breakout of there, could probably be seeing that move to the downside, which again could be meaning a bearish trend on the lower charts, like the daily, weekly, 4 hourly, could be seeing some bearish trends to the downside. But for now, again, you can see after that big push to the downside, do expect to see some retracement. We have sort of broken out of this key level of support, which I've been talking about as well. So as you can see, really nice key level of support. We have broken below it, but again, very correctively, not really a strong break, which we like to see in breakout. So probably going to be expecting to see a push to the upside regardless of that kind of weak breakout, if you say. So I'd probably expect to see some continuation to the upside for UGP, and then further movement to the downside overall. Obviously I could be wrong, we could just continue to lead to the downside and just pick up momentum as we go along and probably start to see that 0.87 tested a lot sooner. But for now, probably do expect to see some retracement for EURGBP. If not, we could just be on our way to the downside and really start to see a bearish trend in this pair and see some lower lows and lower highs for EURGBP. Okay, so up next we've got AUD USD. Okay, so for AUD USD, we're starting to look quite bearish for this pair. As you can see, the overall trend is still to the upside, but if you look at this price action that's going on in this area of the market, as you can see, we're making some lower highs in this market, and we just kind of made it a lower low recently with the Friday close there. So you can see there's lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So it is showing that price is getting weaker to the upside and the bears are starting to gain some strength. And as you can see, we had a bit of a false breakout on Thursday. As you can see, this is kind of our last previous swing low area. This is the key level of support that I was talking about, that if price can break there on the daily chart, we can start to see a bit of a retracement for AUD/USD and start to see a bearish trend for this pair. As you can see, the first day's candle looked like it was breaking at one point, but by the end of the day we pulled it all the way back up and actually closed bullish. So could be seeing a further move to the upside at that point, but then you can see Friday's candle actually closed back below. So again, not very a convincing close below. Break of that break of that support could easily close back above. Not really a convincing break there, but if you do have a break of that support, it will be term resistance, and if we hold as resistance, I do think AUD/USD is probably on its way to the downside now. Again, really key level of prior resistance here will be turned support. So again, more of a long-term point of view, but if you do hold this area as resistance and see a drop, we could be seeing a movement all the way to 0.74 and start to see a bit of a bearish trend for AUD/USD from a daily point of view. And again, if I jump to the 4-hourly chart, you can see those lower highs a bit more prominently there. See those high there, lower high, lower high, lower high. So I do think further continuation to the downside based off what's going on in the 4-hourly chart as well. Might see some bit more retrace to the upside because we did start to see some strong bullish candles coming back into the market. So I might see a bit of retrace. Again, as long as we stay below our previous high there in the market, which is this level here, as long as we stay underneath that level, I do think AUD/USD is on its way to the downside there. Another push lower, create another lower, and we could start to see a bit of a bearish trend finally in this market after the bullish trend that we've had for the past few months now for AUD/USD. So we could be seeing a bit of a correction, and again 0.74 looks like a really key level of prior resistance. Will we turn support? We could be seeing price either bounce out to continue to the upside and continue this overall uptrend, or just again have a bit of struggle trying to break through. So I do think AUD/USD, as long as we stay above that 4-hourly level that I point out there, that key level, I do think we are on our way down for AU. Now let's take a look at NZD CAD. Okay, so for NZD CAD this week, we had a further continuation to the upside for this pair. We actually broke above a key level of prior resistance in the market. As you can see, this is a key level of resistance, key level that I'm kind of looking at for my analysis for NZD CAD. As you can see, really nice resistance push to the downside. Got back above it, add to that support here, push to the upside, back below it, now we're back up. Now we're back what does that mean, Meeks? Okay, so for NZD CAD, we actually broke above a key level of resistance this week on the daily time frame, and we were looking quite bullish at one point for this pair. As you can see, really key level of resistance here, pretty strong push to the downside. Got back above it, was acting as support, back below it, acted as resistance again, and now we're back above it again this week. So I did say if price was to get rejected from this level here again this week, we could say could see further continuation to the downside and see a move back down to this key level of support in the market around 0.89923, so around there, really key level of support and resistance there in the market. But as you can see, we actually closed above of that resistance there, and now it's going to be acting as support. And you can see with that engulfing candle there on Thursday, I believe it did act as support. So again, could be seeing another push to the upside for NZD CAD, because at this point you can see we've got a high there, got a lower high, higher low, sorry, higher high, higher low. Could be on our way to create another higher high potentially, or retest that previous resistance and then see the drop to the downside. But for NZD CAD, I think we need to get below this level to start to see some bearish movement for this pair. As long as we stay above that level and respect that support, we can probably expect further continuation to the upside to go and respect the prior high for NZD CAD, or maybe even create a higher high before we start to see a drop for this pair, because I do think the longer move is still to the downside, because we are probably due some retracement. You can see on the weekly chart Very strong move to the upside. We've seen some strong engulfing candles coming into the market, so we are running out of bullish momentum even from a weekly point of view, and could start to see some retracement for this pair. But right now we're back above a key level of resistance. Now we will be acting as support, so probably can be seeing further continuation to the upside. But if we do break below that level of support again, could be seeing another push to the downside, about to go and test this key level around here, 0.8923, and possibly if we break through that, can go a lot further for NZD CAD. Next up, we've got GBP NZD. Okay, so for GBP NZD this weekend, not too much happened in terms of movement. Price right now for me is consolidating really for this pair. Again, got the resistance up there, got the support down here. See, we tested the resistance twice, tested the support twice as well. So price for me is consolidating for GBP NZD. I did say last week, probably expect to see some retracement and further continuation to the upside for this pair. As you can see, we did get some retracement here. This is where we finished last week. So we did get some retracement for this pair. And then continuation, but we failed to take out our previous high, so we really haven't continued. We just went to go and test the previous high and got rejected there as well, as you can see. So right now GBP NZD is consolidating, so we have a 50-50 really of which way price could break out to. However, I'm probably leaning towards price breaking to the upside for this pair and going testing a really key level of price support in the market, which is around 1.94 1.94. Really nice area support, as you can see, testing it multiple times with the support. Tested that resistance here as well, and I do think a break to the upside for GBP NZD could take us to go and test this level here of price support, term resistance for this pair. However, again, 50-50 could break to the downside. If we do break to the downside, I do think we could be on our way to this level here. Really nice area of support. Here you can see we tested it twice before, tested it once there, went to the downside, tested it again, nice push to the upside, could just test this area again. And at that point, this whole area really is just consolidation for GBP NZD. But again, we'll probably judge that when we do get to this point. But right now, price is consolidating for GBP NZD, 50-50, which way we could break to. Me favoring more to the upside, and again, a break and retest and showing that we're holding above that consolidation box that I do think will come up to 1.94, and a break to the downside could be seeing a move back to this support level for GBP NZD for next week. Next, we're going to move on to CAD JPY. Okay, so for CAD JPY this week, we did see a break of the trend line, which I was talking about last week. Probably expect to see a break of the trend line and further continuation to the downside. So you can see we had a break of the trend line, but again, it turned out to be a false breakout. As you can see, Friday's candle closing right back above. So again, you don't want to be taking trend line breaks too much as gospel, because again, trend lines are very subjective, and you want to be looking more at your support and resistance because they have a bit more weight behind it. And you can see the key level, if I remove this trend line, the key level of support, which was kind of just keeping us in this consolidation, held. So you can see price support there, push to the upside, held again, and now push to the upside as well. So CAD JPY is still really consolidating, as I was talking from last week. Got the resistance up there, got the support here, and price is just consolidated for now for CAD JPY. So again, even though we had a really strong close to the upside for CAD JPY, again, I wouldn't treat that too much as yet. We're going back to the upside now, creating some new highs, because again, we're still stuck in this consolidation, and there's a very good chance we could see another bearish candle coming right all the way back down again for CAD JPY for next week. So right now, price is respecting the resistance quite well, respecting the support quite well as well, and right now we're just consolidating, ranging for CAD JPY. So until we see a breakout to the upside or to the downside, we can't really determine the direction of this pair. As you can see, for the past few days or so, you can see we are in an uptrend here in the market. Got our low there, got a high there, there's a higher low, again higher high, and a higher low there. So again, we are trending to the upside, and right now kind of stuck at the previous swing high there. So retesting that as resistance, and price is failing to break through it. So we do have a slight trend in the market here, but from a higher time frame point of view, like the weekly, you can see we are stuck in a range for this pair. So again, if I take this across, there's our resistance, there's our support. So again, the overall kind of direction for the weekly point of view is still ranging. But again, if you do hold at this level, could see a nice swing back down and see another leg of this range pattern. Just see another test of that support all the way down there. So again, more of a long-term point of view. Right now, you can see we are ranging for CAD JPY. A break to the downside, a break at that key level support, we could start to see a bit of a bearish trend for this market, and I do expect to see kind of like a first target really is this key level of support here in the market, which kind of was our last leg to the upside around 8,300. So again, break to the downside, I do expect to see price come back to this support here. Break to the upside, we could be seeing a breakout of the range on the weekly and this consolidation, and at that point we probably could start to see a really bearish leg to the upside for CAD JPY and see this kind of uptrend just continue and price take off to the upside at that point. But right now we are consolidating, just have to wait for which way price wants to break out to. Again, break to the upside, just see a continuation. Break to the downside, could be seeing price come back to this support here in the market around 8,300 for CAD JPY. Up next is GBP USD. Okay, so for GBP USD on the daily chart, you can see we're overall still in an uptrend for this market. Again, very choppy, however, but we're still in an uptrend here. Now, I actually want to start with the monthly for this one because we had a really bullish December. January not so bullish, almost a doji really. But again, I think January's candle is quite key actually, because it looks like it's kind of just retesting the prior resistance we broke out of in December and retesting it as support right now. So I do think for February we could be seeing a very bullish February to the upside potentially. I do think over eventually we could be seeing a move all the way to 1.42, which is this resistance here, really key level resistance, which sent us to the downside all the way down to 1.2, really key level of support on the monthly time frame for GBPUSD, as you can see, sent us all the way to that level. So I do think that January candle is actually retesting that, and we could be seeing a bullish February to the upside, not exactly going all the way to test that area, but I think eventually we will be testing that 1.42 area for GBPUSD. But more of a short-term point of view, GBPUSD, you can see not too much happened again this week. If I jump more on the 4-hourly chart, you can see right now kind of just consolidating really for GBPUSD. We've got our resistance up there, got the support down there, and prices kind of just start getting this consolidation right now. So again, 50-50, could break to the upside, could break to the downside. The overall trend is still to the upside, so again the possibility is probably more leaning towards the upside, and again from the monthly time frame as well. So probably could be expecting more of a break to the upside rather to the downside for this pair. But again, because you can see on the daily chart, if I jump to the daily again, we're very overextended here and could be seeing retracement first before we do continue to the upside. So that is still a possibility, but right now price is just ranging. It just depends which way it wants to break out to. Could break to the upside. In that case, we're probably going to be seeing the continuation of the bullish trend, and if you see a break to the downside, could be seeing a move to this previous key level, the kind of previous swing low of the market. As you can see, really nice support, send us to the upside into this consolidation. So breakout of that level could be taking us, breakout that consolidation, sorry, could be taking us all the way back down to this key area of support for next week. So again, just depends which way GBPUSD wants to break out to. We never know, we might not even see a breakout next week, might just see further continuation in this consolidation throughout the whole of next week. It's still a possibility for this pair, but right now we're just ranging, depends which way price wants to break out to the upside. Again, further continuation, break to the downside, expect GBPUSD to come to test this key level of support down there. And next we're going to see what's happening with GBP CAD. Okay, so for GBP CAD this week, we did see a very strong push to the upside as expected. I did say last week we probably expect to see further continuation to the upside for GBP CAD, and we did expect to see this resistance level here eventually break for this pair, and you can see we broke it quite well this week. So last week I did say I probably expect to see some retrace first, because last week we did end closing into this resistance here. So I did say probably expect to see some retracement first, but then further continuation to the upside all the way to go and test 1.78. You can see again very long term 1.78, but I do think eventually we're going to probably go and get a test of that area. And right now, very strong push to the upside. You do expect to see some retracement for this pair, and I'm still treating this bearish candle here as retracement. So again, really key level of prior resistance turned support. So I do think could be coming further to the downside to go and retest that support and see further continuation to the upside there for GBP CAD. And again, we had clues that we're going to break to the upside on the monthly time frame here. You can see all these wicks to the downside here on the monthly time frame. Price was kept trying to break lower, failed to do so. pulled all the way back up, did that for about 4 months in a row, and you can see we're already having a bullish January as well. So I do think our next real level to break through is this level here, very strong level on the monthly. So probably going to take its time before we eventually break through that, but I do think we're going to be seeing a bullish GB CAD to the upside. And right now we had a very impulsive move to the upside, going to be seeing some retracement again, probably to go and test this level here around 1.74200, around there. And then if we do find support, I do think GB CAD is going to see further continuation to the upside for next week. And up next, we're going to take a look at gold. Okay, so for gold on the daily chart, you can see right now we're consolidating for this pair. Price has got the resistance up there and support down here, and price has been just consolidated really for gold for the past few days now. So again, have my upside targets and downside targets as well for this pair. Break to the downside, I do expect the movement to go and test 1780, really key level of support. This is kind of our last prior low of the market, really big push to the upside, back to go and test this previous that previous swing high there. So again, break out this consolidation to the downside. I do think we're coming all the way to contest this low here, or maybe even create some new lows there for gold, because again, we still do have this this counter trend, bearish trend in the market to the downside. So if we do break to the downside, expect the movement to go and test this level here, 1780. Break to the upside, I do think we can go all the way and test 1900, really key level of resistance and support. See a little bit better on the 4 hourly. You can see resistance all across there, support as well, key level of support resistance. So I do think break to the upside, we could be coming back to that level. Break above that, however, we'll probably come back to highs. At that point, we could probably be seeing a break to the upside and price really continue this overall bullish trend really for gold if we do break past that level, because you can see this is the downtrend here. The last time we came to test here, this is kind of our previous swing high in the market. We tested it, got rejected. So at that point, we've created another a higher low in the market, so you say, and then probably start to see that overall bullish trend continue at that point if we do get above that level. But right now, gold is moving sideways. You can see on the 4 hourly time frame, gold is just moving sideways. A very strong push to the upside that we had towards the end of last week, but price came all the way back down, because again, it's still respecting that range that we have there on the daily chart. So again, just needs to see which way price wants to break out to. Break to the upside, probably expecting test of there 1900. Break to the downside, 1780 could be our target. And last but not least, we've got Bitcoin. Okay, and last but not least, we have Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin so far on the daily chart is really holding a key level in the market, 30,000 as support. So you can see a really key level support, tested a couple of times there, tested it again there, tested it once and tested it twice recently, and so far is holding. So if I jump to the 4 hourly chart, you can see we tested it once there, a little bit of a double bottom here, tested it once, trended to the upside a little bit, came back down, retested it and shot to the upside. So price is holding that price support there. We could be seeing further push to the upside for Bitcoin. However, we haven't really taken out any key levels of support resistance or taken out this trend line here in the market. So again, this trend line is kind of keeping us in this bearish trend sort of. So you can see here multiple tests of that trend line. We did spike all the way above it, but pulled back and closed below. So false breakout there really for Bitcoin, and you can see so far we are still respecting it. So if you do respect this trend line, could see price roll over again and come back down to go and test 30,000. However, if you do break through that trend line and break through a key level, which is 36,000, which is this level here in the market, if you get above this level, because again, price support there, get above it, will be acting as support as well. Could be seeing price going back to 40,000 or right back to the highs, or maybe even higher than that. So Bitcoin right now isn't a bit of a short-term bearish trend right now, but if you get above that trend line and back above 36,000, I do think we could be on our way to 40,000 or probably back to highs, depending on if you get the momentum behind us. But right now, prices so far respecting that trend line there, and could be seeing price roll over back again to 30,000 if we do respect it. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it useful. If you agree, disagree, or have any questions, just drop it down in the comments. I'll make sure I'll get back to you. But again, thank you for watching, and until the next one, I will see you guys later.